The ability to add to your team because of rosters expanding in September is huge for a lot of different reasons. Playoff contenders call up players to help now, while rebuilding teams call up prospects to see what they can do. Or, if you're the Phillies, you call up a guy for vibes apparently. But anyway, the idea of a September call-up goes all the way back before baseball even had official roster rules. And this unique part of baseball's rulebook has spawned a lot of unforgettable stories in MLB history. As a result, some stand out more than others, as the instant impact they gave their respective teams was huge. So in this video, we're going to cover 5 of the most memorable September editions in recent history. If you're going to enjoy this video though, please do me a favor of liking it down below. I tried to have this video out a couple weeks ago, but it just wasn't able to happen. But I still hope you enjoyed anyway. In September of 1971, the Astros called up a 21-year-old right-handed pitcher named J.R. Richard. Richard had pitched 3 years in Houston's system and was called up to start in Game 2 of a doubleheader on September 5th, 1971. He struck out at the time a record-tying 15 batters. He'd go on to finish the season with a 3.43 ERA in 4 starts. It was just the beginning for Richard though, as he would go on to be one of the most dominant pitchers of the 70s, posting a career 3.15 ERA. The end of Richard's career though was very shocking, as he was forced to stop pitching in his prime at only 30 years old after suffering a stroke caused by a blood clot in his neck. Before the stroke, he looked destined for the Hall of Fame, but even with his unfortunate outcome, he still finished his career with just under 1,500 strikeouts over 1,606 innings. Shane Spencer is one of the most notorious September call-ups in MLB history. He was recalled by the Yankees in September of 1998, and in his first game back, he would homer twice. He would continue his hot streak by hitting 10 home runs over 67 at-bats during a 10-day span, which also saw him hit 3 grand slams, setting a record for most grand slams by a rookie in a single season. Finished this September of 1998 with a .373 batting average and a .910 slugging percentage. He'd hit 2 home runs this September on his way to the 1998 World Series title for the Yankees. But Spencer's bizarre career is perhaps the most talked about September call-ups in MLB history.
Pretty soon the devil is going to come back and claim his part of the deal. And 1998's Joe Hardy will have to go back to being whoever he was before he made that deal with the devil. But for now, he's a home run hitting machine.
When the Angels called up Francisco Rodriguez, aka K-Rod, from the minors to make his debut on September 18th, 2002, he was at the time the youngest pitcher in the American League, but because of several injuries to guys in the Angels bullpen, it thrust K-Rod into the spotlight. And to be honest, he was lights out. In 5 2/3 innings in the month of September, he gave up only 3 hits and struck out 13 batters. But it was the playoffs where Francisco Rodriguez would turn into K-Rod. In 11 games, he pitched 18 2/3 innings, striking out 28 and posting a 1.93 ERA. His curveball that October was borderline unhittable. With a combination of his sweeping 12-6 curve and the lack of film on him though, it made other teams completely fear him. And despite never winning an MLB game before this, he won 5 in the postseason to help the Angels down the stretch. But K-Rod's best performance of the season came in Game 7 of the World Series, when he struck out 3 straight batters in the 8th inning on the way to the first and only World Series win in the Angels' history. The Tampa Bay Rays were a team looking for a World Series in 2008, and to help aid their chances, they called up a young left-handed pitcher named David Price to help down the stretch. In 5 games in September, he pitched 14 innings, giving up 9 hits and finishing with a 1.93 ERA. But the real value from Price in 08 came in the playoffs, as the Rays made a run towards the World Series title. Price pitched 5 2/3 innings in the playoffs. The highlight of his season was when he closed out Game 7 of the ALCS to send the Rays to the World Series. He would only give up 2 hits in the postseason, but that would not be enough, as Tampa would lose to the Phillies in 5 games. As many of you probably know, Price would become a reliable starter in the league post-2008, finishing his career with a 3.32 ERA. Corey Seager was highly rated within the Dodgers system going into the 2015 season, so it was no surprise to see them call him up as rosters expanded on September 1st. I'm not quite sure though that the Dodgers even predicted the production they would get from the at the time 21-year-old. Seager would hit .337 in 27 games, hitting 4 home runs in that time. Unfortunately, his bat would go cold down the stretch though, as the Dodgers would lose in the NLCS, but Seager's contribution down the stretch helped get the Dodgers into the playoffs. With many teams already making their call-ups for 2025 and seeing results, who is the next Corey Seager or David Price? Ultimately, only time will tell, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below.